Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. Here's what's coming up on the program. Non-academic staff union in the nation's public tertiary institutions commenced 7-day warning strike, demand payment of withheld 4-month salaries. President Bola Tinubu says those responsible for killing of soldiers in Okwama community of Delta State must be apprehended to face the full wrath of the law. And with a disturbing rise in cases of killings and kidnappings across parts of the country, we examine the factors define all puzzle pushed by government to handle the situation. Thanks again for joining us on the program. Let's begin the first edition of this program by bringing to your notice that our public tertiary institutions are not enjoying the services of senior and non-academic staff who have today commenced a 7-day warning strike following the expiration of a 7-day ultimatum given to the federal government over withheld salaries. The Joint Action Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and Non-Academic Staff Union say Downing Tool is their last resort to compel the federal government to pay its withheld salaries for 4 months over a 2022 strike. The decision of the joint action was conveyed today, directing all members nationwide to mandatorily comply without entertaining any form of concession, as government, according to them, has not positively responded to their demands. Earlier today, the president of the association spoke on our program, The Morning Brief. Let's take a listen.
It's a case of clear injustice that 4 unions went on strike, and then we suspended the strike based on agreements reached with government officials. And here the president grants a waiver, and then only one part of the unions were paid. So we drew the attention of those that matter, because we realized that we felt that it was an error somehow, because we could not fathom how such a misnomer could happen. But what is becoming disturbing is that upon all the assurances made by the Minister of Education and officials of the ministry, it remains mute, as far as the Office of the Accountant General is concerned. So we do not really understand how the Accountant General operates. Whether she was directed to only pay NASU, and because they need to come out and clarify. Because like you said, we cannot understand the president and commander-in-chief of the country will give an order, and then someone somewhere is subverting that order. And that's why during our National Executive Council in Akure a week ago, we did mention that we sense some saboteurs in this government, because this is unthinkable actually. As of today, all our workers in registry, bursary, works and maintenance, security, students' affairs, will withdraw. have withdrawn their services, and nothing moves within the administration of any public university in Nigeria, and that will be the case for the next 7 days, until and unless the needful is done.
Now, away from that, a community in chaos best describes Okwama in Ughelli North local government area of Delta State that has now been raised. There are claims that the angry soldiers are responsible for the setting ablaze the town in defense of their colleagues, although some arrests have been made by the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, who are on a manhunt for the perpetrators of the crime, as residents of Okwama have reportedly now fled the town for fear of retaliation by the soldiers. Now, for proper context, the incident follows the ambush and killing of 16 soldiers who were on a peace mission after responding to a distress call over the Okwama-Okoloba communal clash. Bodies of 14 soldiers have so far been recovered, and the Chief of Defense Staff has ordered an investigation into the killings, while the Delta State government has actually condemned the act and commiserates with the affected families. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu appears very upset over the killing of soldiers in Okwama community, maintaining the action of the perpetrators will not go unpunished. The president, who condoles with the victim's family in a statement, a personal statement we must add, also extols the virtue of the servicemen who lay down their lives for the nation's safety. The Commander-in-Chief statement ordering action reads in part, any attack on them is a direct attack on our nation. We will not accept this wicked act. The cowardly offenders responsible for this heinous crime will not go unpunished. President Tinubu assured that his government is committed to ensuring nationwide peace and tranquility. And at least 87 people have been reportedly kidnapped by bandits who attacked Kajuru Station community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. The bandits were said to have looted some shops and houses located in the community. The attack occurred just last night, a day after 14 persons were kidnapped by bandits in Ndogonoma community, also within that Kajuru local government area. The police authorities in the state are yet to confirm this latest attack, but the chairman of the local government area, Mr. Ibrahim Kajere, told Channels Television that the bandit had invaded Kajuru Station community at about 9 p.m. on Sunday night, which was just a few hours away, and took away many of the residents. Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, is in Kaduna State on a visit. The CDS has assured that the abducted Kajuru or Kuriga students and children and those that were recently kidnapped in Kajuru local government area of the state will soon be rescued. The general explains how the military and other security agencies are working tirelessly to free all of the hostages.
There are individuals that are not happy to see the nation developing, and they want to cause rancor, cause mayhem, cause underdevelopment. Because by the time they put on security, nobody will want to come and invest in Kaduna or Nigeria. And the populace, as long as they're not happy, things will not work well. But like I said, God Almighty has not brought us here for us to be destroyed. They're having their own evil plans, but God is on our side, and we are working tirelessly to ensure, one, we secure the states, the country, secure the citizens, most especially to be able to free the abducted ones. Both the school children and all the other ones have been adopted. We're happy with the president we've had yesterday that the directive he has given based on the unfortunate incident in Delta State. And he's giving us all the support that we require. Those are the mandates that we need. But we came to reassure you that we're not sleeping, that the troops are coming out, we're getting more troops, we're taking more action to ensure that we safeguard and we bring them out as quickly as possible.
So, I've been doing some computation as to what's been going on in Kaduna State. And when I added all of the numbers together and looking at it, in the last few weeks, let's begin with the children that were abducted and the students, about 387 of them. And then we had 87 abducted just a few moments ago, early hours of Sunday, and then now 14. That brings a total of 488 persons have so far been abducted, and none so far has been released. So you can see the reason why the Chief of Defense Staff, the highest hierarchy of the military, had to travel all the way to Kaduna State. Now, it has to go beyond talk shop to really getting these people rescued and released by all means necessary, because these are lives of children and individuals. We're not even talking about the incident in Borno State with the women, over 200 of them, and then the incidents in Sokoto, as well as other parts of the country, reported and unreported. So security is a critical issue. And so if you do the computation using your calculator, maybe on your phone or your device, you see that we have a situation on our hands, which is why it's always in the front burner. But we'll take on this quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories as far as this is concerned and other political stories. Join us again. Let's now talk about that all-important issue that I did a bit of an analytics, more like just bring you up to speed as to the issue going on, say, in Kaduna State. 287, 14 and now 87 people all have been kidnapped in the space of about 1 month or so. If we go across the country, there are parts that is even worse or so. And the mass kidnapping of people, the spate of kidnapping, is totally unacceptable by all. And so everyone is on the government to act fast and do something so that this doesn't become one enterprise taken too far by the people perpetrating this heinous crime. Let's now go on to talk to the person who has the insider perspective, a former military officer, Major General Rabe Abubakar, retired, former Director of Defense Information. He joins us via telephone. Major General, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for calling me.
General Abubakar, sometimes it's difficult to know what not to ask and what to ask because there are so many things happening in quick succession. But let's begin with the incident that happened in Okwama community where 16 soldiers were killed. And now the entire area is in a bit of a chaos. What's your first impression when you heard about 16 armed men killed by certain people in that area?
Thank you very much for calling me. And my perspectives, before I start, let me just quickly say that the killings are unwarranted, undeserved, and unacceptable in any country. You understand. The soldiers, if you know the background of why they are there on a peace mission. Peace mission does not in any way connect, arming, or being a little bit hard on the people. They are just there to ensure that peace reigns. And the military is, Nigerian military is one of the most disciplined and hard-working military in the world. And I may want to believe that killing, is something which could have been avoided. You understand? Avoided in the sense that there's even no basis for that. No need for that. The people, the soldiers are there carrying out their statutory, duty. Ensure peace in that region. Now, this is what happened. Before I start, let me send my sincere condolences to all Nigerians because this strategy is not only attacking the soldiers, it's something which has to do with Nigerian people. You understand? So let me first and foremost send my condolences to all Nigerians, particularly to the Chief of Defense Staff and other services. You understand? Then we move forward. It's unwarranted, completely unacceptable, and undeserved. No soldiers will be killed, though they are killed. The soldiers are there to do their own normal duties to ensure peace reigns in that place. You understand? Why kill it?
All right.
Why?
All right, General, if I may, I know that we spoke to Major General, your colleague, Sekaigbe Cecil, and he said that the reason, that is his postulation, more like we were asking the question, how come armed military officers were just wasted in that manner? He said because they were on a peacekeeping mission. But at some point, when you go on a peacekeeping mission, at what point does the rule of engagement change that you may have to start defending yourself that may not lead to this kind of incident?
No, you see, it all depends on the nature of the mission itself. If you have somebody call you on a distress call that he's in, difficulties, or he's been kidnapped, or he's been this. I remember that the military, Nigerian military, we deployed in almost the whole state. You understand? We are the most great Nigerian, soldiers in the world. Now, as I'm speaking with you. So if there is such, distress call, looking for somebody to give a helping hand, nothing stops some soldiers move there in order to rescue the victims. You understand? And it's part of what we are supposed to be doing. You understand? So the issue of they could not go in a large scale, military outing. Pickings. You understand? It could be just after all, we are just going on this mission. Let's go and see how it is before we go for reinforcement. Remember, we have SOP, Operation Standard Procedures. We have each unit has on Operation Standard Procedures depending on the calamity or depending on the situation at hand. It can change. But this time around, it could be ambushed. You understand? They didn't know that this kind of because they are coming from the town where they rescued the victim, and it was on their way. Why must that happen? How should a criminal, in his own guide, questioned, institutionalized, constitutionally established as force like Nigerian military, for instance? How can that happen? And it's only how that kind of thing happen. And I believe we will not in any way continue to accept this kind of thing, even though the military we are highly professional, we are highly trained, and we are highly equally exposed, to certain beyond the military training too, rule of law, international law, and what. So we follow that in ensuring that those who are there, who must have committed these things, were apprehended appropriately to avoid, what people call collective punishment. We don't do that. You understand? We are trying to isolate those who are involved to ensure that we target them and we get them back so that they can pass the law of the country. And I think
General, the concern also now being raised. Everyone, literally, discerning individual has condemned this particular killing of the members of our armed forces, given the sacrifices they make to keep us safe. But the other concern being raised right now is when we backtrack to what happened, the Anzaki Biam, people are worried about a possible reaction that, if not properly managed, may escalate things further. What do you think can be done to just quell things as much as possible so that the military and the authorities in charge get the right people that perpetrated this crime and reduce the number of civilian casualties who don't have any business with this whole incident as much as possible?
But you see, the thing is this. You understand? We have been moved in to carry out mass or collective punishment or to carry out collective punishment as people are insinuated. Those who are insinuated this kind of thing are people who are from there, and I mean, who have some level of sympathy, on the part of the criminals, because they are part of them, stopping, bunkering, and not to be. I believe those guys who must have committed this thing must come from this kind of group, bunkerers and not to be. And we cannot in any way allow criminals to take our country, for granted. And that's what we are doing. So the issue of collective punishment should not even come in for now. You understand? However, it could be possible that in the course of discharging our duties professionally to ensure that we identify, isolate, and extricate those who might have committed these things. It could be something could have happened beyond that. But I believe the military, Nigerian military, as I know it, I served for over 4 years, and I know what to do to ensure that there have been so many instances before where our soldiers were killed, and we have never spoken for any repression. The Nigerian military is a modern army now. It's a modern military where the rule of law, leads our operations, and even international conventions too. We are all party to all these things. I was thinking that the so-called human rights could even by now be championed. This people being brought to book, but they kept silent. If it happened otherwise, by now the whole world would have known that the military have done this, or the military have, even when we do it, with caution and not deliberate.
All right, General, as we begin to wind down, I wanted to find out from you, don't you think that our military is even overstretched, given this? Because people are saying this particular operation is a communal clash. And what does the military have to do with this? And what business does the military? They're not supposed to come in this kind of space because they have bigger responsibilities for them in another parts of the country. So does this call for a rework of our security architecture so that we don't expose our very talented officers to this kind of careless, if some people will say, killing?
Under normal situations, under normal circumstances, you understand, inter-security operations are not for the military. However, we are mandated by a section of the Constitution where if the other security agencies, could seek our help, we render that help. And that's why we are doing all these things we are doing. And that's why we deploy in certificates of the Federation. We are, as you said earlier, and we are overstretched actually. I agree with you. But what are you going to do? The Nigerian military is for Nigerians, it's for Nigeria, and it's for Nigerians. They are Nigerians. So in any capacity they are called upon to assist, they must squeeze to ensure that peace reigns and security of nations prevails. And that's what we do.
General, before I let you go, let me get your take on this very embarrassing, consistent abductions that we are seeing in Kano State. I don't know what your view is. I tried to use my device to do the calculation. 287 children not yet released. Another 16 abductions just 2 days ago, and then a day ago rather, and just a few hours ago, another 87 abductions. What do you think is going on in Kaduna and its insecurity situation?
It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, and nobody is happy about it. The military is not happy. Any other security agency is not happy about what's happening. However, we are in the era of technology, you understand. And you shouldn't forget one thing. My colleagues have said something just a few hours ago that when recommendations were made to improve our security situation, not only around the schools but elsewhere. Once the episode passed, we begin not to actually implement what the recommendations by the military. You understand? And that's why we are having this occurrence of this kind of. Remember that the military cannot in any way be everywhere. It cannot be everywhere. But if there is, subservient or I can say collaborative other security agencies that pick up what is supposed to have been doing, with the military, I believe we can be able to rescue all, to do what is needed to ensure that this kind of thing is stopped or is minimized to the minimum. And secondly, from my own thinking, is the business becoming too lucrative because of obvious reasons. But however, the government in place, I believe, is doing everything to ensure that it takes measures that are different, about this kind of small business. The military is doing its best. The other security agencies are doing their best. But however, the citizens' participation needs to come in, and that's what most times. Yes, we don't have.
All right, General. I must thank you for your perspective, Major General Rabi Abubakar, retired, former Director, Defense Information. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me too. I'm always grateful for you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Let's move on now to some political stories where the All Progressives Congress in Ogbabido, local government area of Benue State, have joined forces with a Benjamin Omakolo-led group of the party in the state loyal to the governor, Hyacinth Alia. The state's Commissioner for Water Resources, Environment and Climate Change, Mr. Ugodo, leading the local government and ward executives, including those from Owukpa Ehaje, where the party chairman, Mr. Austin Agada, hails from, says the development drive of the Alia administration will thrive despite all apparent distractions.
He has performed.
Everybody that matters politically in Ogbadibo is here today. When you talk of Ogbadibo, and when you look out for the major stakeholder, the major players of this party in Ogbadibo, they are all here today. And they are here to endorse and to support the government of Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia. You see development going all over the state, and that is the reason why the people that think he should bring this thing on the table for them to share are angry, and they are going about social media propaganda, spreading social media propaganda, trying to rubbish in before the people. But the people of Benue State knew that Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia is here to liberate the state, and he's doing it. Everybody is happy. And that is why there is a common saying in Benue State now, the stakeholder versus the masses.
And now as the controversy over allegations of budget padding in the 2024 budget rages on, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Mohammed Sani, said that there is budget padding. There's nothing like a budget padding in the 2022 approved appropriation. He stated this while addressing journalism shortly after flagging off an empowerment scheme for residents of his constituency.
There's nothing like budget padding in the National Assembly. By the Constitution and by the setup of the National Assembly, we have the right to appropriate. So when you bring a figure, if it is okay and there is need for any additions, they will do the additions. If we see some line items that's not supposed to be there, it is our right as members of the National Assembly to take them out. So what you see is a normal thing that has been going on in the National Assembly. I mean, we are there from different constituencies and different parties. You cannot expect that we all go the same way. There must be those differences. And when those differences come, we will always go back at a closed session and make the difference. He might be right, he might be wrong, but we expect that whatever you bring before going to the press, you bring it down to the level of your members, and then you discuss it. And where there are gray areas in the National Assembly, there are so many ways you can exercise your right.
Well, that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. You've been served on Lunchtime.